Hello, guys. We are back here and we are live. Thank you so much. I apologize for the delay in today's session. It wasn't intentional. A couple of things just happened within that time frame that we're supposed to start. And anyway, we almost did not hold this session, but hey, we are gone too far to stop. Right now we're unstoppable. Today is the 26th day, I guess. And we are going all the way to the 30th day. And so we just have to continue. Sometimes I'll share the story behind the scene another day. However, I'm excited to be here. My name is Amaka. I am privileged, or your privileged host and convener of the Disruptive Parenting Summit. This is the very first edition. Somebody reached out to me to say, this cannot be the first one. And I'm like, about this time last year, I didn't know there's going to be a summit. In fact, in January, I didn't know. Right? So about this time last year, I was comfortable and I'm still happy to have just launched my book with all the feedbacks, excitement, congratulations. That's, by the way, hasn't stopped coming till now. So I didn't see Disruptive Parenting Summit coming. All right. Like I've shared over and over again, sincerely, I think from my point of view that God just took over this entire project. Because I set out to write a book and gift our world. And it's an incredible book. If you have not gotten your copy, I don't know what you're waiting for. All right. But somewhere along the line, the first thing that happened was that my editor reached out to say, this book must have a pause. And I'm like, okay. And then we got into that afterwards. And then eventually we launched the Disruptive Parenting Academy. In fact, we almost like launched the Disruptive Parenting Academy alongside the book. All right. And we continued. Here we are with the Disruptive Parenting Summit. And what is it about? Sincerely, there are too many things happening in the life of our children in the days that we live in. Too many things. And it's not limited to Nigeria. I don't know how somebody in their, no matter the level of insanity, let me even not say in their right senses, no matter the level of insanity, can actually get into a class, get into a school and shoot 14 children in the US. I don't know what anybody wants to call that, if not a siege. So it's actually not about where you live or where you do not live, what you drive. It's about your understanding that there is a generation that hell is after. There's a generation that the devil wants to snuff out life from them. And so I always say, it's not funny to be a child in the times that we live in. Imagine what's going on in the life and in the hearts and the mind of the children who came into school that morning and were playing with us 14 children. Will they be back to that school? Won't they be traumatized every time you mention go back to school? Now, if the place of learning had become traumatic, then is it not, can't we read the handwriting on the wall? That if somebody cannot develop their mind, if it is true that people start dying when they stop reading, and the place where they're supposed to learn and develop have become traumatic. Is it not a sign that this is not about color or continent or nation, what you live or what to drive and where you live? And so we reached out to a lot of people on my network, and they obliged us. In the last more than 20 days now, every day we have put out values. We have masterminds coming here to share, coming here to empower parents, to help them groom their children, raise children right, to help every one of us become effective parents, to help us parent right, to help us know what to do, because knowledge, ignorance is it's not bliss when it has to do with knowing what to do to help your children. Ignorance is dangerous, it's not bliss. And so do not take this opportunity for granted. Like I will always say, most of the people, masterminds, coaches, professionals that you have seen come share here, there is none of them that won't pay at least $100 to meet one-on-one. Some of them are up to $500. Some of them are $1,000. But they have come to gift us with their expertise, with their knowledge for free. They have come to help you and I. They have come. In fact, particularly you, because they're in my network, I can reach out to them and get the help that I need for my children, if all I wanted to do was just to raise my biological children. But hey, beyond that, I am a stakeholder in what happens and how you raise your children. Because the children, the ones that God gives me biologically, how many will they be? We need somebody in oil and gas. We need somebody in leadership. We need somebody in governance. We need someone everywhere. We need someone in politics. We need people in medical science. Those who their parents did not buy the certificate for. Those who their parents helped to discover that is the area of their divine assignments. Not those who their parents were not able to read medicine, and so they have to buy it over for them. We need to raise a generation of people who we can take their words to the bank and cash it. We do not want people that are vulnerable. We do not want to raise boys or allow our boys to grow without direction. And tomorrow we are shouting and asking women who are grown to go and submit. And I keep asking, submit to what? All right? So that's why we got on this journey, so we can disrupt this flow of negatives and raise a remnant. I pray that your children are part of that remnant. That's why you've been on this journey with us the last more than about 25 days or so. So it's going to be an incredible night. Today we understand the place of finances. We know money is not the root of olive. It's the love of money that is the root of olive. Right? Money is a tool. Money in the hands of an armed robber is an armed robber's money. Money in the hands of a nation builder will transform lives and destinies. So we want to help our children to know. We need to know what to tell them and what financial knowledge they need to get. We need to know how to help them to master their numbers. They need to learn to delay gratification. It's not enough to say children of these days, they too like money. They are doing ritual. They are doing this, they are doing that. Who taught them how to do ritual? The adults in their lives. They came out like the computer. It's garbage in, garbage out. Who taught them? What are we teaching them? Do we even know what to teach them? Can you and I stand up, walk to those that the mother of those children, the father of those children, look them to the face? Like one, I was hearing one today. He was caught and he was explaining how he has only gone once. And so his wife just gave birth. That guy is not up to 30. He's hardly up to 30 years. So his wife just gave birth. So he has not gone back again. But this time they have caught him. So I'm wondering, can his father look him to the face and say, where did you get this thing from? I didn't teach you this. Did you even teach anything? Or you assumed that he should be a man because he has the male genital organs? So today we are teaching the way and the pathway of greatness, of financial greatness, financial empowerment. And so today on the Disruptive Parenting Summit, we are going to be dealing with family finance and parenting. Family finance and parenting. Again, my name is Amaka. Before I bring on our guest tonight, I wanted to please make sure that you have subscribed. This is a good time to share, and share. Because if you're a mother of an 8-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 10-year-old, and you're not too sure of who your son or your daughter is going to get married to, it's only wisdom that you share, because you might just be saving your son-in-law's life or your daughter-in-law's life. Because that boy that I listened to today, I saw his video today, he has a wife, and his wife just gave birth. So I don't know what will become of his son. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl, but his child. I don't know if his wife is into that. If she's not in it, she has just gotten at the middle of life just by saying, yes, I do. So it's important that we save every child, because no child is saved until every child is saved. And no child is safe until every child is safe. So reach out to one of my precious sisters. Like I said, there's hardly anybody that's been on this platform I don't have one-on-one relationship. So when we are talking about community parenting reengineering, that's what we are saying. It takes a community to raise a wholesome child. You can join our community. Again, my name is Amaka Omo-Oikeh. I'm the host and convener of the Disruptive Parenting Summit, the founder of Disruptive Parenting Academy, and I'm also the author of the Disruptive Parenting book. I do many other things, but on this summit, don't worry, let's focus on parent coach, right? Again, if you have not shared, please go ahead and share, like my page, click the notification bell such that every time we come online or we share video, you will be notified. Subscribe, please, if you have not subscribed, right? And so, like I was saying, she's my beloved complete sister, right? She's one of my newest gifts, okay? Because when you see the way we do, you would think that we have known for 15 years. But it goes to confirm that scripture that says, deep calleth unto deep. Right? Once you belong, see, belonging to this kingdom we are in is stronger than biology. When you see your sister, you know. When you see your brother, they don't used to. There's no sitting at the fence on this matter. If you're not in, you're out. Right? So it's a rare privilege and it's my honor to be bringing the family finance specialist. Today, when I was trying to put up a post, I saw myself writing family finance strategist. Right? But today she is going to be sharing with us what we need to know as it has to do with family finance and parenting. With the Disruptive Parenting Summit, drums rolling. Welcome our very own coach, the finance specialist himself, Coach Adebisi Atewologun. I think I pronounce it now well. Coach, take it off from there, please. Glad to have you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Coach Amaka. You're doing an amazing job. What? Summit is lit. I love what you're doing. I love your passion. You're doing extremely well. You know, I can't say you are doing well. You're not just doing well, you're doing extremely well. And I can say this, it's a privilege to be associated with this great movement. And I'm so happy. If you're joining us live for the very first time, please make sure you watch the previous episodes. Don't just watch today's one. Go on and watch it from the very beginning, because we have great teachers that are taking us in different aspects of parenting. Today, I will be taking us on family finance and parenting. It's so amazing how I ask us this question now. How many parents want their children to be successful? If you want your children to be successful in life, can you drop one in the comment section? If a parent here or a would-be parent and you want your children to be successful, press 1, as in type 1 in the comment section. I am sure if you're watching this video now, I can predict that you're going to type 1 in the comment section. Why? Every parent wants their children to be successful. Every parent would love to see their children become successful in life. The second one I want to ask is this. How many of you, as a parent or would-be parent, would want to have your children become rich in life? You want them to become very rich in life. If you know you want your children to become very rich in life, very successful in life, type 1 in the comment section. The first question I asked is being successful. The second one is being rich. I mean, who doesn't want to be the father of a billionaire? Who doesn't want to be the parent, the mother of somebody that is on Forbes, top 10, top 100 in the whole world? If you know you want to have children that will become very rich in life, right? I want you to type in the comment section 1 again. I am saying this because I understand this. Every parent set out to become successful. Every parent wants their children to become successful. Every parent would want to raise children that will become very rich. So this leads me to my third question. How would you define very rich? If you are told to define very rich, I want my children to become very rich. You have already typed 1 in the comment section. So the first question as well as the second question. So how do you define very rich? I want you to take a pen and a paper and write down, what does it mean for my child to become successful in life? What does it mean for my child to become very rich in life? I want to take a wild guess, right? And just assume, right? I'm just going to say a few things, some of the things that some parents will want to see. That they want their children to be able to fend for themselves from their adult age. They want them to be able to take care of themselves, not that they will be paying their bills, for life. right? They want them to be able to take, pick up their bills. They want their children to have houses of their own, lands of their own. They want their children, to be able to feed their families and not wait on them to feed, to feed them. The list is endless. Some parents tell you they want their children to have a house in the UK, in the US. They want their children to have, multiple citizenship. I want you to write it down. What is success for your children? What does it mean to you? If you can get a plain piece of paper, write it down. If you're married and you're not a single parent, I want you to carry out this exercise with your partner. I want you to do it in such a way that the mother will do hers separately, the father will do his separately. You'll be amazed the kind of results you'll be getting. What does being successful mean for you, for your children? This question is going to help you to understand the direction of what we're talking about tonight: family finance and parenting. If you do not know something, anything would appeal to you. You need to define what it is, and you need to have a mirror, a standard that you checkmate it against. Otherwise, you would assume things, and those children will turn out based on what you assume. And most of the time, once we lose control of all of these, we just leave everything to chance. And you and I know that when you leave things to chance, it's not very good. That's not success. Now I'm going to be talking about how you can, what kind of things will help you to have the right kind of expectations, how you can do your family finance and parenting in such a way that you have peace of mind, right? And because really, before we do all of that, I want you to look out for 5 things. There are 5 things that you need to look out for as a parent in family finance and parenting. These 5 things, when you look at them, examine your life and begin to ask yourself the right questions. If you don't do it, it creeps in gradually and it has affected a lot of parents. What is the first thing? Fear. Fear of the unknown. A lot of parents are afraid. They are afraid that they are not sure which child is going to become successful. They want all their children to be successful, but at the back of their mind, they still have this fear that, I don't know, maybe it's one of them that will be successful. I don't know if it is all of them that will be successful. I don't know. Some parents have this fear, face that intentional about your expectations for them. So, your parenting, especially as regards finance, is it that you'll not be able to pay their school fees when they're able to pay it? What and flip it? It is important. Now, another thing about fear is fear that your government is influencing your parenting. This one is so paramount, especially for those of us in Nigeria. When you that if PDP is in power, then your finance is going to be negatively affected or positively affected. There is problem. If you have that kind of fear that it is the party or the person in power that is going to determine your finance, especially, and then it's eventually affect your parenting. Your children are watching you. Some families will tell you, I knew it, that once this person gets into power, finance will not flow. Who says? Says who? Says who? That fear you're projecting on the children, and then some of those parents, they will now become afraid. They will say, no, I need to japa. And because they have not faced their fear, they travel out of their country and they still become slaves. So you see them walking around the clock, trying to make ends meet, and their hand is still not meeting up. Because the fear that they have carried from where they are, they have not faced it. Some parents have put their children in eternal prison because of it. They have killed the potential of their children because of this fear. Fear of government, who is in power, fear of what is happening. And because if you don't fix your mindset, if you don't fix the fear, even if you relocate to the best country in the world, you will still be working and battling with it because there's no perfect system anywhere. So when it comes to parenting, you need to understand this. Remember, I asked you that question. For some people, success in parenting means that their children understand how money is being made. For some people, they just tell their children, don't you know that money is not easy to get money? So their children already have that fear that it's not easy to make money. And then they are running kitty kitty kata kata every day, running because their parents already sold this idea to them that it is not easy to make money. Meanwhile, it is very easy to make money. I put it to you, and I'm going to tell you at the end of today why it is easy to get money. So what fear? Because of time, I will just stop there in the aspect of what do you have as a parent? I need you to watch out for it and deal with it. Affect your parenting. To understand all of this, and they're already projecting this fear in their children. They're already telling their children, hey, this government, this election, this, that, and then because of this, they are living in perpetual. So you need to face it now. Who is in government does not affect your power, your money, your ability to make money. If you have that belief, you're showing it, it's being shown to your children, they will also carry that belief. And even if they run away from this country, they will walk around the clock and still be believing that it's the government there that is not allowing them to succeed. So it's very important that we know this. The second thing you need to look out for are limiting beliefs. Limiting beliefs. Do you think money grows on trees? And then you tell your children that, you need to tell them how money is being made. You need to communicate all of that. I'm going to go into detail on that. But what limiting beliefs do you have about money? And are you pushing it aside, sweeping it under the carpet, or you are coming all out to tell, face it and address it? For some people, they still believe that, they just keep making money and then they don't know where the money is going, Sometimes they just come home and they're like, what's happening? I thought I gave this amount. Well, we said we are going to spend this amount on this thing, and then the money, we can't see that. Or for instance, you allocated a certain money towards food in the house, and then you realize that maybe prices of foodstuffs have gone up, and you begin to say things like, where is the money gone? I thought we have allocated this money. When you have this kind of mindset and you're saying it to your children, you're telling them, see, money can disappear. For it. There are many limiting beliefs that people have about money. And part of it is that money can come, money can come based on somebody just favoring you. It's okay to believe that somebody can favor you. But if you do not understand that you have to give value to get value, there's problem. So what value are you giving? If you do not believe that you need to give value to get value, and if you do not communicate it to your children, there's problem. Because what it means is that they will embrace gambling, they will embrace living their lives to chance, and a lot of things could go wrong. So what limiting beliefs are you carrying? I want you to look at it very well, and you can go online and do some tests to help you discover it. Another thing is character flaws. Some people love money. In fact, some parents, if they want to assess their relationships, the person that has the most money are the ones they give the most respect to. And the ones that doesn't have money, they just tell you, I beg, who is that person? Don't mind him. Tell him I'm not at home or something, or they don't want to be associated with that person because the person is not rich. What you are doing with your parenting is that you are telling your children that money is more important than every other thing. And it will show in the life of those children. How do you value money? And how do you rate money in your relationships? It's very, very important. The next one is personalities. Personalities. Let me just explain this with an example, with a short story. A mother asked her 6-year-old daughter this very simple question when she got back home from school. Whose party pack is the best in your class so far? And the girl looks at the mom and says, Mom, my own party pack on my birthday is the best so far. Children brought just sweets and chocolates. The other person brought exercise book. For me, I brought cake, I brought drink, I brought this. I was like, yes, give me high five, yes. When you ask your children that kind of a question, what are you telling them? You are telling them already that any other person that is not bringing enough party packs to school, right, is not it. You are the one that is the best. So some parents are doing it. When you start selling that ideology to your children, it's a flaw. It's a flaw, and it's going to affect their value, their perception of value. And when they have that, when they go on to grow on to become adults, it's going to tell on them. If they are not financially endowed, they feel like nothing. It affects their esteem because they believe that they are not able to do more than every other person. So if they're not doing more than every other person, then they are not successful. And doing more than every other person is then comparing themselves with others. And that's the beginning of foolishness. So you want to be conscious of all these things. The fifth one is your environment. Your environment. Your environment. A lot of times we allow our environment to limit us, and we're in the world with a season of life where we're in the world without borders. You don't need to be a Nigerian to go anywhere in the world to have access to certain information. So you want to ask yourself this question: are you always thinking about your local economy, or you're thinking about you're thinking global? Are you positioning your children for global opportunities? Your family finance is affected by this ideology, because if you're always thinking local, you're not thinking global, it reflects in your parenting, it reflects in your family finance, and it affects how you raise your children. So back to the question I asked you, what does success mean to you for your children? Beyond them having a car, a house of their own, and all of these things, what does it mean to you? And what exactly are you doing about it? So these five areas that I want to look at, the first one is fear. The second one is limiting beliefs. The third is your character flaws. And then the fourth is your personality. So some people, their personality is the personality that is competitive, and they carry that competition into their children's mind. And that way they begin to ask them questions. Who is the best in your class? Why are you not the best? You know, who brought the best party packs? Be careful, okay? And then we have also your environment. You're not just a local champion, you're a global person. So when you're raising children with that perspective, you expose them to certain things that will position them for global opportunities. You don't just raise them based on your Nigerian curriculum. You position them so that the standard of education in your local country does not limit them. You position them to be able to interact with people all over the world so they can seize global opportunities. So if you are working with your immediate environment alone in your finances or in your parenting, it will affect your children. So be conscious of all of these 5 factors. And then this will take us to the second, or should I say, the third part of our class tonight. And what is this third part about? How do you get achieve your family finance and parenting, to meet those things that you have written down. Remember, I asked you, what does success mean to you? What mirror do you need to use to assess it? So the first thing I want to ask you is, those things that you have written down, what are they? If you compare your notes with your partner, are they the same? If they are not the same, it means you are not on the same page. Begin to talk about it, and get on the same page. Add what you need to add together, subtract what you need to subtract, and then have a unified front in your expectation of what it means to be successful. If you're not doing this, if you don't define your expectation, you will just fall for anything, and it is very dangerous. For instance, in my own family, success for us is that our children, when they see money that does not belong to them, they return it. Success for us is that when they want to work, they understand that they will need to give value to get value. Success for us is not about how much they have in their bank account, but of the fact that they are impacting lives. Now, I used to tell my children this story that, see, I understand that we are Nigerians and our government has not been able to meet our expectations, but imagine that you become very rich and then you're able to influence the electoral process. Imagine that you have become very rich and you have a voice to be able to say, this law should be removed from our constitution. Imagine that you have become very rich and you can influence and protect the lives of poor people all over the world. You cannot have voice if you don't have that money that will help you to do all of that. So they see money as a tool to touch lives. That is an expectation. So whatever profession, so for some parents, they tell their children, you must become a lawyer, you must become a doctor, you must this, you must that. If you're still dictating that and you do not have the right parameters, it's a problem. So what does success mean to you? You need to be able to define it, and you need to stick to, and you need to, which leads me to the second thing, which is what? Communicating it. Communicating it. How do you communicate all these expectations to your children? When a child doesn't carry out any house chores, they sleep, they wake up, they just assume that everything is fine, everything they ask for, they get it. If they say they need 1 million naira, their parents will give it to them. Whether they know what they want to do with it or not, they just receive it. I want to take a clue from God. How does God give you everything that you ask for? If your child that is 7-year-old is asking you for a key to a car, or asking you for a car, would you give that child the car, or you want to ask questions? What do you want the car for? Can it wait? If you have not learned to be able to say no to your child sometimes and explain why, there's a problem. So when they grow up and they meet a little pressure from life, it shakes them. They begin to ask questions, and then it becomes very difficult for them to cope. So the home is meant to prepare the children for the world, what they are supposed to experience in the outside. So if the family is the smallest unit of the society, and you're supposed to be contributing towards the society, towards your nation, ask yourself this question: what are your children contributing? If they're not doing any house chore, if they're not doing anything, it means that they sleep, wake up, eat, and then go. So to the larger society, what happens when every adult sleeps, wake up, and then go, not do anything? What will happen to the society? Of course, it's not going to be very good. I want to also give you an instance. You are working very hard. You have built a beautiful company. It has branches all over the world. And you have been raising your children to understand and see, I'm doing everything for you. I'm doing everything for you. You're telling them, you're communicating to them, yes. And then what happens? One day you appoint them as MD CEO. no experience, no exposure. What do you think will happen to your company? So this leads into the third one, which is what? Process. Process. What is your ideal process? What is your ideal thought process in wealth creation? For some people, any money is money as far as they are concerned, whether it is for them or it is not for them. Some people, they believe that some people are owing them. Government is owing them. Their big brother is owing them. Everybody is owing them. When you have this mindset, that your thought process will reflect in your family finance, and it also reflects in your parenting. So you want to be conscious of all of this. I want to also bring to us just to drive home this point of process, how parenting is as far as boundaries is concerned. When you have a baby, when you give birth to a young baby, you always cuddle the baby, sing to the baby responds to sound and light. Gradually, the child begins to move their hands, move their legs, move their neck. When they want to start sitting down, when they're ready to start sitting down, even when you want to cuddle them, they want to be in the sitting position. That's process. They are ready, they want to sit down. After that stage, once they are ready to start walking. If you put a child that is ready to start walking, if you carry that child will still want to get down to start walking. They don't want to sit down anymore. They are ready to start walking. Gradually, when they are ready to start running, you have to be running around to catch up with them. When they're ready to start talking, you literally have to tell them, stop, don't just hear ba 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 ba. Nature has been teaching us about process. No matter how advanced your technology is, you can't give birth to a baby in just 3 days. There is a process for the child to be formed before the child eventually comes out to life. There's a process to wealth creation. Are you aware of this process? Are you even conscious of it? Are you communicating this process to your children? For instance, ATM, you take your ATM and then you just tell your child, they just know that ATM, they go to the machine and then they enter the PIN and money comes out. Do they know what you need to do to get money to be inside that card? Or you tell them, don't worry, mommy is here, daddy is here, whatever you need, we'll make sure it is available to you. Even if you are an employee, do you tell them what kind of value you're adding to your office or your organization? Or you just tell them, I'm working hard to make sure you are working, I can pay your school fees, and it ends there. How we communicate is very important, and understanding the process is also very important for them. When you work all day and you don't give them attention, the message you're passing across to them is it is more important to make money than to parent them. And when you make out time for them, they understand that making money is not ultimate, that building quality relationships is very important. So all of this is very important, that you are conscious of all these processes. And when you are conscious of this process, that you need to give something, give value, so that you can exchange it with money. When you go to work, you are telling them, see, this is part of the things that I do. The little way that you can explain it. When they begin to see you as the hero that needs to do something to make money, it enters into their brain. And then they begin to look forward to what can I do to make money. So they don't just wake up and then they want money sharp. Because whenever they ask their parents give them the money sharp, fast, quickly. For those of us that are not in the, that sharp is Nigerian. It just means, fast. Just like we have the microwave approach compared to the Pol Pot. So you want to be conscious of communicating process to them. What are you doing to make money? How are you doing it? In the little way that they will be able to understand. Nobody is going to teach them when they're in school, but you need to get them to have that understanding, healthy understanding about it. Otherwise, for generations to generation, Ponzi schemes have been existing. We had 419 in the 70s and 80s. We have scams in the 90s. They call them different names at different generations. Those things will always be there. They will always have scapegoat. People will keep falling for them. Why are people falling for them? Because somebody did not define what it means for them to have value. So if you believe that money will just fall on your laps, and they tell you, go and bring 1 million naira, I am telling you, you get 100 million naira in 24 hours. How do they do it? They're not asking questions. All they know is that this is what they said and this is what they said. So when you parent your children and they don't understand process, they can fall for Ponzi's. They can fall for fraud because they don't have values that guides them. When you understand this, you'll be more intentional about educating it to them, not just for you to know that there's a process, but for you to communicate the process to them. So that means that you need to be intentional. You don't just leave it to chance. As you communicate it to them, you leave it. You don't say A and do B. You leave it. You demonstrate it in your lifestyle. So when you are working very hard, for instance, as a father, you're working so hard, it's okay for them to believe that you're working hard for them. It's okay. But you also need to let them know that, see, this is what I'm doing. And I would love for you to understand that there are other ways that you can earn money as well. And you expose them to all these things. It's not when they now become graduates that you now say, go and write an application letter. And I'm working hard so that I can create a network that is rich enough to give you a job when you need a job. See, you can get the connection. They can get a job through your recommendation. But what will sustain them on that job is their knowledge of the process. So you need to be intentional about it. We need to be intentional about the process. When we are intentional about the process, it works. It helps us. It helps us to know that, see, this is what we need to do. And you visualize it. Remember, I said we should be specific about our expectations and that we should ensure that we reconcile these expectations with our partner. Visualize it. Let them know that, see, this is what success means to us. That you are not a thief, that you didn't steal somebody's money, that you didn't try to carry what does not belong to you. When you begin to tell children this, they know this. So you don't just say it to them, you also live it. So they don't go all out to get the money, by all means, all cook and can, let me just make this money, right? Because you tell them they must be rich by all means. You are intentional about letting them know what is real success, what real success means, and what fake success means. So the last thing for you in this aspect is to execute it. If you do not execute it on a daily basis, if you do not live it, you are only trying to parent them based on chance, and it's not going to work. You need to be intentional about it. So when you say you want your child, going back to the question I asked from the beginning, you want all your children to be successful. What are you doing about it? What process? What is that mirror that you're using to measure what it means for you to be nurturing these processes to them? It's not enough for you to say, I want my children to be very rich. What are you doing? What steps are you taking? What are you intentionally exposing to them? What kind of books are they reading? And it's not just for them to read the books. What are you yourself practicing and letting them know? It's okay for you to do some investments and make some mistakes. Let them know. So that when they grow up, if they see something like that, they will also know that, see, I need to make something out of life. I don't have to make the same mistakes that my parents have made. So all of these are the things that would help your family finance as well as your parenting. So that you don't just run, make all the money, and then you raise children that will telling you, mommy, I need this, mommy, I need that. When they should already be standing on their own. One day, my daughter, when she was 9, she asked me this question: mommy, would you buy me a car when I'm 19? Guess what I told her? I said, do you mind earning enough money to buy your own car at 19? I flipped it. Why? Because I understand that I do not have to commit to something that will make that child be expecting that I promised her a car. What if she's able to earn it? And my teenagers are the type that they use data all the time. They'll just go once they carry your phone like this, they put on data, they are put on your hotspot, they have finished your data. And I told them, do you know how much it costs? Because they need to understand this. And one day my son told me, mommy, please, how much is your data? I want to pay for it. The day he told me this, I was very happy. I was happy because now he understands that he needs to pay for it. So he's looking forward to being able to pay for data. So it is very important. For some people in other societies, it is compulsory that they do carry out, work to earn money, or have some kind of experience before they are given certain roles or admitted in universities. We don't have that structure here in Nigeria, but as a parent, you can practice it. That's why we say you don't have to raise your children based on reality in your environment. Whatever is working in other environments that is positive, practice it. You don't rely on formal education alone. They need to learn how to, have skills that can help them, life skills, soft skills. So how intentional are you in this aspect? Or are you just telling them you must come first in class? You must. I don't want to hear stories. I don't want any excuses. If you're not coming first, don't come back to this house. Is life really about coming first in class? And so they go all out. Sometimes they'll have to cheat so they can meet up with the expectations. Is that really what it means for you? What success is? So I want you to, at this time, challenge you to look at it very well. What does success mean for you? What does being successful mean for each of your children? How are you helping them, nurturing them to become that which you have for them? As a wrap up, I want to share a story with us about one woman called Jochebed. She had her children when they were in captivity, and they were treated as slaves. But do you know that this woman raised giants? She raised children that were outstanding. And it began from her mindset. She understood that wealth comes from God, that there is a spiritual dimension to wealth. So she entrenched the fear of God in the hearts of her children. She understood the power of relationships and influence. So she was not shying away from being associated with the family of Pharaoh. She understood that you need to look out for the interest of others. So she had children that were always, at the forefront. How are you raising your children? Are you telling them mind your own business? Or are you telling them how is this person faring? How can you make life better for others? If you're always thinking about yourself, your family, it is difficult for you to be able to create impact. And when you say you want to have children that are very rich, go and look at the people on the lists of the top 10, top 100 people in the world. How many lives are they touching? How many people have they employed? What kind of solution do they have? Is it a solution that will meet only their family, or a solution that will meet everybody? So your family finance and your parenting is very, very important, that you are intentional about it. So at this point, I want to stop here for the sake of time to take questions. Thank you, Amaka.
Thank you very much. Drums rolling. Please make her feel loved and appreciated. We are grateful. Thank you so much for joining us on this session. Family finance and parenting. Awesome, very insightful session. Okay, you actually said a couple of things that I have heard, like you repeated it. Okay, because someone in recent time has shared a story of how he told his girl to go and do XYZ or she should not come back to this house. All right. And the girl went. Because she didn't meet that instruction. She truly did not come back home. I tell parents, in 21st century, 2022, you can't raise a Gen Zer with the parenting tools that your parents used for you. It's not going to work. That teenager went on that instruction, quote unquote, under threat. And when she got there, because she couldn't get that particular deliver like that instruction was given, she didn't come back. So this thing happened somewhere in the afternoon, right? And then they moved on. 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 9 p.m. They didn't see this child. And guess what? She's a house help. By the time it got to 9:30, 10:30, if the guy who told her that, and everybody, him himself, his family, his friends, everybody became afraid. All right? Because he kept saying somebody's child and all of those. I shared that story to buttress what she said. It's important how we communicate. Our value systems, very critical. Our money mindsets, our thought pattern around money. If you think that everybody who is rich duped someone or did something wrong somewhere, you are shortchanging yourself. And what you will not know, you will unconsciously be practicing and be behaving in that manner, and your children will be picking it up. So when they see a good car on the road, they won't say, wow, what a work of art. Their mind will go, is a 419 now, is a ritualist, is a Nigerian politician. You know, when you talked about parents who do stuff and they're teaching their children that money can disappear. Oh my God. I remember all the disappearing money in the Nigerian political system. Oh Lord. I so unfortunately, all of these adults do not know the impact of what they are doing on the next generation. That's one that breaks my heart. That's one that breaks my heart. I wish you know. See, it's not about these children, and that is not to exonerate anybody who is not behaving right. But it's mostly about the families, about the adults in their lives, about the society, about the environments, about people who are supposed to be role models, about what we celebrate. What do you celebrate in your home? It starts with your child coming home with what you didn't buy. Growing up, that one, I knew my mother with it. It doesn't matter whether it was 10 naira pencil, Doesn't matter how cheap that thing is. You will not mistakenly bring it into her house. You will not by mistake. So what do you celebrate? Add that to all of the questions that Adebisi has asked you tonight. And let's all get back to the drawing board. I was sharing with someone yesterday, some people, and I said, we do not say all of these things or teach all of these things that we teach because we have arrived. But it's important that you begin the journey. We have started the journey. You know, we are all like Disruptive Parenting Academy is 1 year, is 1 year old. Most of the parenting academies or works, quote and unquote, intentional by intentional teaching. I know that people who have gone ahead of us who were doing family life. But this level of commitment to parenting has not been too long we started it. So there were no parenting schools or academies. So people are using, a lot of people are using the templates that their parents used to raise them. You are 35, 38, 40, and in your, or some, most parents who are Generation Z parents and Generation Alpha parents are in their late 30s, 40s, and early 50s. So a few are baby boomers. Others are millennials. So if you are using your father's templates, your mother's templates, you are probably parenting with the templates of the 70s and the 60s. You are using the templates of the 60s to raise a 21st century child. You are maiming that child by yourself, by your parenting style. You are disempowering, that's a word. You are disempowering them. And you're going to have a lot of friction with them, especially the ones that are forward thinkers. You are parenting for the past. You will clash with the 21st century kid. And it's a matter of time. She will switch off. I've had to deal with a lot of cases where parents are asking me, but how do I handle these children? She doesn't talk. She's not a talking type. No, you can't determine whether she's a talking type or he's a talking type until you meet him or meet her in the middle of his friends. Because they are talking there. All right? So once you get that, you understand that you should parent for the future. Raise children who will be leaders, worthy of emulation, role models, icons of the future. Now, if you are raising an icon of the future, you cannot be telling him or her that everybody who is driving a good car stole it. And you will not also be making available everything they say, because you're not teaching him or her to take responsibility. You're not teaching delayed gratification. All right? So it's important that we look at those things and know how to go, such that in our parenting journey, we are empowering our children and not, creating further dysfunctionality Okay. Once again, Coach, thank you for being here tonight. I deeply appreciate you. We'll just take one or two questions, and one of them will be for somebody who is, like I've mentioned, let's even say a Gen Zer. What are some of the opportunities that these parents can begin to channel their children's attention towards? What are some of the things that they can do or begin to do or train in or be empowered with, such that they can begin early to make their own money?
Thank you very much for that. You said something about the fact that we need to prepare our children for the future. And because we are talking finance, some parents still believe that having investments in the traditional banks is the only best way, is the best way. If you're not buying a house, if you're not doing investment in the house, or if you're doing online business, it's not good. Why? Because in their own generation, doing online businesses was not known to them. So you need to get them a coach that will help them, especially because you might not have that knowledge, right? So that's one. You can get them exposed. And then another thing is this: when you have the right values, it becomes a lot easier for them. For instance, there are certain investments that you can have for your children, which they can begin to have access to in terms of knowing that this thing is for them. When they have gotten to a certain age, they can have access to it. Another way is to get them to see how they can have some skills. For instance, based on their interests, some children, they already have interest in coding. Some children, they have interest in trading. You hear them say, can I write notes for you and you pay me for it? You understand that child has, different things. So you begin to help them to see what they can sell at their level. It's okay to sell cars, it's okay to sell some basic things, and begin to see how they can make money. Or some of them, when they are writing their junior WAEC or senior WAEC, as in junior school or senior school, when they're on their long break, get them to do something that will help them to, start seeing how they can start making money. It doesn't affect the academics, but it prepares them so that they're not liabilities on you. So for children, it varies, but you need to pay attention to what are their strengths. For instance, my son is like me. My second son is like me. He's not irritated by anything. When he sees a cockroach, he's not afraid. When he sees the lizard, he's not afraid. Because of how I grew up, I don't get irritated very easily. Now, and he said he'd like to become an engineer. And I said, okay, for a future forward millennia, I would want, I was telling the idea of going into recycling of items. Because I know that for those kind of people, because they're not irritated very easily, that's a strength. They can use it. Right? But for some others that maybe they're very creative, they can think on their feet, you begin to suggest that they do certain things. But in suggesting to them, you are playing to their strength. And you're still allowing them to catch their fun in it. You're not saying if you don't do it, you can't do any other thing, right? So you gradually expose them to things that will enhance their strength. And gradually they can start making money. We have some people that are writing books and they're making money. We have some children that love writing stories and they're blogging and they're making money. We have some children, that are already, writing programs and they're already monetizing it, creating apps. So identify their strengths and begin to help them to see how to monetize those things.
Identify their strengths, very critical. Identify their strength and begin to see how you can help them to monetize. So about 3-4 weeks ago, I heard about this guy. He's in his early 20s, less than 25. But he became a millionaire in dollars at about 18. The guy is not online. The guy is too rich for his age. So by himself, he refused to put himself out there. So you won't see his data online, like on Facebook and on Twitter, on Instagram. Because he by himself at that tender age, he's saying he doesn't want kidnappers to come after him.
Wow.
The guy is super rich. Guess what? He's in Nigeria. He's studying abroad.
Wow.
He's studying online. He's been working. He's been doing international jobs and businesses for years. Okay. And to say, I'm just being, I don't want to exaggerate it, but that guy is not up to 23. All right. So when parents say, parents are afraid and traumatized about how long their children spend online with the gadgets and what, it depends on what you are doing and your parenting style. There are things that are supposed to be your family values. If you teach your children very well, their family values will choose the sites they check online. Believe me. Your family values will choose the videos they click. Your family values will choose their friendship. So there are some things that you will, at that level, year 1, year 2 in the university, they are no longer, those things, they have adopted those values. So you're no longer chasing them around with the values. The future is online. Let's get it straight. So regardless of what your child is interested in, there is an online version of it. And that online version of it has the capacity. There's one 10-year-old that is online, is on Instagram. I'm trying to remember her name now, but she has done 1 or 2 jobs with Ola of Lagos. That girl is super cool. I'm sure she's making a lot of money right now. She's just sharing her thoughts. She's sharing her thoughts, doing research. It's not stopping her from going to school. If you go to her page, you will see that it's her parents that are managing her page. But do you even have time for your children? Do you even know what they have flair for? That girl is many years ahead of her contemporaries. I don't know how rich her parents are, but I'm sure that right now she can pay her bills to the things that we call good schools. Do you have time to even discover what your child is about, or you're only calling them names? Every one of us needs to go back to the drawing board. To whom much is given, much is expected. I was sharing earlier that this is the time when we are now, trailblazing this aspect of life, which is parenting, and all of those. To whom much is given, much is expected. Your parents didn't attend Disruptive Parenting Academy. They didn't have access to Disruptive Parenting Summits. You do. You're expected to do, your outcome is supposed to be massive. Your outcome should be massive. All right. We have a 10-year-old by the grace of God. Her book has been edited and returned. It's the graphics they're doing now. She will launch in a couple of weeks. She's a Generation Alpha. Last year, she got a birthday gift of $100 from someone. That's not her only gift, but that particular gift, we added money to it and got her a coach that we paid $100K. I'm a parenting coach. I work with children. So why did we need to get her a coach? Because it takes a community of intelligent people to raise wholesome, intelligent children. There is something everybody's bringing to the table. If a person of faith, one shall chase 1,000, two shall put 10,000 to flight. Imagine your strength and the strength of your spouse, just the two of you. Compare it to the strength of these 30 masterminds that we have gathered here just to help you. You will go a lot further if you apply the lessons of this summit. If you don't know where to start, please reach out and get help. Your children can turn out well, and we are all stakeholders. How they turn out is important to us. That's because I know there's a king in every kid. There's a champion in every child. Don't snuff it out. Reach out and get help. Thank you again for coming, Coach. I truly appreciate you. God bless you. And the work that you're doing. I appreciate you. Finally, on that note, please could you help us to share your products where we can see you? By chance there's someone who is listening up and like, okay, so I want to really reach out to her. What's going on with my family? I want to know how to help my children, or I want to even know how to put together my own family finance. But see, remember that the session is family finance and parenting. Family finance is a field in itself. So it means that you need to fix your family finance to be able to parent rights. All right, did you hear when she said those questions that she asked you? Compare your own with that of your spouse. If he's not agreeing, you need a couples connect session. Right? So, Coach, please let us know where we can see you and what more we can get.
Okay, I'm available on Facebook, Adebisi Atewologun, on Instagram, Adebisi Atewologun, on LinkedIn, I'm available on Adebisi Atewologun, and I have some courses, Family Finance Masterclass for singles. I have a masterclass for married couples, where we go very deep, exploring the 7 phases of family finance, with your retirement, from when you're just getting married to when you have gotten to the retirement phase. I will be 40 on Monday, and I have retired from active work over 5 years ago. And it's because I'm intentional.
You used to be a banker.
Yes. I help people manage wealth, and it's been for over 10 years that I've been doing that. So I understand the dilemma that families face in their family finance. And I can book a session through my Instagram inbox details, and I will always help you with your family finance.
All right, beautiful. Big ups, Chris. Thank you so much once again, guys. If you have not subscribed to the Disruptive Fatherhood, I have tried for you. So please register for your spouse. We have to face the fact, because of how our men they are raised, a lot of them need follow-up to be able to do what they have to do. But you can register your spouse. You can use it as a gift for him. What's important is that you get him to be in the life of your children. Like I've always said, sorry, power just went out again. Like I've always said, one thing is sure. If we get it right, our children will get it right. A lot of us, a lot of families are missing it because, they didn't get it right at the beginning. So please help your family to get it right. That way you are sure that your children are not just by themselves, okay? That way you will know that your sons have role models and your daughters are validated, okay? I'll be back, give me a moment. I'm trying to get another light on. So please get that done and it will help your family. Believe me, it will. And when I say will, I'm not mincing words. Well, it's going to be a 5 days session where we are going to be teaching our men how to go beyond being ATM machines. Okay? It's not right, it's not okay for you to just pay bills. It's frustrating. That's probably why sometimes you wonder why your children get angry every time they're not able to do or to pick up their bills. Okay? It's important that you register for that course. It's heavily subsidized. The details are on my page. Check my Instagram or check my Telegram group. If you have not joined, please join. Or send me a DM and it will be sent to you. It's heavily subsidized. But the first set of discount is going to be canceled out by the 30th of this month. So cash in and take advantage of it. Cash in and take advantage of it. Register for every male in your life that you love. How they turn out and how their families turn out. How we eventually turn out cumulatively is how our nation is going to become a nation whose builder and maker is God. All right? Please, let's do that. If you have not subscribed, once again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification bell and make sure you like this video. And please go ahead and share. Once again, send a big God bless you to our facilitator for tonight, Coach. We love you. We really do. You know that I love you, right?
Yeah, I know. Thank you. I love you too.
So much for coming. God bless you. Really good. Thanks everyone for joining us. Do have a wonderful